the first thing I did before I even set up the camera was download the chapter on the Shonen Jump app, man. The same thing that happened yesterday will not happen today, man. Wi-Fi beef lagnards. You know, this entire section could go out of Wi-Fi and I'll still be good to read the latest installment of the Wano Awesome Sauce in the best-selling manga in history, man. The entire place could go out of power and I'll still be good to read the one, the only, nearly the second best-selling comic of all time, One Piece, man. I'm so excited, and I gotta give a huge shout out to every single person in the comments section yesterday who put a massive caps lock best-selling manga in history in the yo. I was overwhelmed by the amount of positive comments, man. I mean, I was extremely emotional reading those. There was like 200 plus of that, man. That was just really, really awesome and really cool, and just seeing all of your messages and just incredible words of advice, inspiration, and support. I truly do appreciate that, man, from the bottom of my heart. And it was really cool, like I said, to see like 50 straight lines of best-selling manga in history, best-selling manga in history. That was really, really cool, and I truly appreciate y'all for that, man. So without further ado, here we are for chapter 969. Now, yesterday's chapter was really, really interesting in terms of what it brought to the table, you know, adding more into the entire Roger portion of the story, specifically with his conversation with Whitebeard and adding more weight onto that, and the flashback that we saw with Roger in Fishman Island, actually getting to see what that truly meant as well. And then with this whole two sovereign thing, which I had a conversation with my cousin later on in that day yesterday, and I was asking him, I was like, bro, do you think that the two sovereigns thing is Luffy and Shirahoshi? And he told me that, yeah, he came to the same conclusion. So it's very interesting that Oda decided to include that now, like I said, to add more weight into everything that happened in the Fishman Island. So it's just really cool stuff. It feels like this flashback is giving us so many things to sink our teeth into, to where like we can add more weight as time goes on, and just certain events that either haven't happened yet or have happened. And I truly appreciate stuff like that. And of course, with the stuff with Ace, but the second half of that chapter, man, with Toki and Odin. So I'm super excited to see if Odin, what Odin is going to do to Orochi in this chapter. And the chapter is titled Fool of a Lord. And right here we see the cover page with my man's getting smoked right here. Gaudi versus the Navy. Still in Dressrosa here, so let's get right into it, man. Can't wait to see. Yo, I had to stop yesterday's recording, man. When you have Orochi, bro... Dude, when I saw Odin bring out the two blades, like that one panel that showed the two blades, and Odin was like ready to go up in like somewhere, I was like, bro, I gotta relax. I gotta relax, bro, because when I saw that, I was like, nah. You know, it immediately brought me back to those incredible panels that we saw in chapter, I think it was 955, right before we went to the Around the World chapter. So we saw Zoro cut that cliff off with Enma, and I was like, dude, the only blades that cut Kaido. And so I was like, man, I gotta calm down. He's bringing it out, and this is post Whitebeard and Roger Journey Odin. No one wants to mess with this man right now, bro. You feel me? And this is a pissed off Odin. A pissed off Odin that is mad that you messed with Toki and with his family and with his retainers. So let's get right into it, man. Right here we see Orochi. He's like, dog, calm down, relax. He gives out a type of yell, man, like he's in some sort of old comic book movie from the 70s. And here you have Odin coming in, blades in hand. Wait, no. Odin, don't do it. And where we have Odin coming in with a nice swing. We have Toki, looks like a flashback panel. If you get angry over something trivial like this, the enemy will strike back again. And Odin yells with every fiber in his being, Orochi! And Orochi just, Gya, Ba! And it looks like there's a massive slice. What hits? Oh, it's the old dude. The one who was telling the future. Or the one who pretty much got Orochi into this entire mess. You remember whenever he was playing the I mean, it's not really the same instrument, but he was playing like his own version here, and and he was pretty much telling Orochi about everything that happened in the past, the Kurozumi family and whatnot. So he's still intertwined with this entire thing as well. I'm interested in seeing who this being is in real time, because it looks like he's the one orchestrating everything. But anyways, we see right here the swing, and we see that the entire right side of the panel just completely gets obliterated, man. Very similar to the clashes back in towards the end of the Rancor saga and Bleach, whenever Ichigo and Aizen were having those and they were just destroying mountains. Very similar here, you know, whenever you have a swordsman just swing, and just like, you know, a Mihawk would do or a Zoro would do. You know, whenever they just swing and you just see like this massive burst of air that just decimates anything in that direction, you know that swordsman is meaning business, you feel me? So I'm glad that Oda decided to give us this panel here of Odin, because that's extremely hype. Very interesting that Oda wanted to, or is like focusing on this, this dude's like fingers, you know, going around like this as he's playing, and then his fingers also right here on the bottom, doing that very same thing as well. Huff, huff, wheeze, wheeze. What was that? What is this? And he's like trying to hit. He keeps trying to hit. And nothing's working. Is it glass? Doesn't seem to be. No, so something took place to where he's attempting to strike, and like there's this barrier in front of him. On some Bartolomeo stuff. As the glass doesn't seem to get out of there, Orochi, there is nothing to worry about. That's why, bro. Because Bartolomeo also does that. I don't know why it didn't click. I have no idea why it didn't click. There's nothing to worry about, Master Orochi. Have faith in the barrier arts. Didn't this guy have the Bon Clay fruit? How many fruits does this dude have? Or is it another one? Biwa playing priest Kurozumi Semimaru. Which one was the one in chapter 255? Or 955? That's gonna bother me now, bro. Anyways, I guess I'll look at it after this chapter. But dude, I mean, considering that this is either regardless of whether it's the same person or whether it's the same family, they have fruits that are very prevalent in like present day One Piece. You know, one of them being Bon Clay's fruit, which is very, very useful. And then the other one is being Bartolomeo's fruit. That makes a lot of sense now, man. I was like, bro, why is Oda focusing on this? And I completely forgot that's what Bartolomeo does whenever he activates the barrier. Body up. Have faith in the barrier arts. And right here we see this a shell encompassing them, very similar to like the room, this big bubble. This barrier will resist any attempt to breach it. Your strength means nothing here, Odin. And right here you see Orochi just crying his eyes out. Okay, so it is two different individuals. I was trying to remember. I was like, man, in that chapter, I remember seeing an old woman and an old man. But I was trying to recall, like, if one of them had already, like, revealed a fruit or whatnot. But no, it looks like, so the old woman has the Bon Clay's fruit, right? And then right here, so we have the old man has the barrier fruit. That's very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. So they had to have died. In some way, shape, or form, these two individuals had to have died in order for their fruit to resurface. But that also makes you think, right? Like, so when their fruits resurfaced, I don't know where Bartolomeo got his fruit, but I'm going to assume, I mean, I don't know if Crocodile was the one that gave Bon Clay his fruit. I don't know if that's ever been said in like a data book or something, but it would be very, very interesting. Just knowing Crocodile and his connection to everything within the One Piece verse. You know, through him, we were able to find out about the Void Sentry and about the location, or I should say, the existence of the ancient weapons. And like through Croc, we've been able to find out so much more about the lore of the verse, because he himself is very knowledgeable and he's a very secretive person. But he obviously knows a lot about the verse. He knows a lot about the past of the verse. You know, with Ivankov and his past with Whitebeard, and they always show him in like these little situations and moments. So I wonder if he already had like knowledge of what that fruit could be, but maybe I'm just looking too deep into that. Anyways, regardless, I find it to be interesting that these two fruits are the ones that are taking shape here. You know, Bon Clay's and Bartolomeo's. Regardless, we'll move forward. We'll get off that for a sec. This barrier will resist any attempt to breach it. Your strength means nothing here, Odin. Kyo, that's right. If you were a pirate, you should be quite aware of the supernatural powers carried by Devil Fruit. You have powers then. That's right, as they say here, we are sorcery users. Mwahaha. If this was a problem anger and violence could solve, Odin, then all the daimyos of Wano would have done it already. Interesting. But nobody can kill me. So Orochi's pretty much saying, like, yo, if this was just a situation or a problem that like any type of rebellion could have solved, anyone would have done it. You know, anyone with a massive army or whatever, they would have done it years by now. But he knows, this slimy Flagnard realizes that because he has these two individuals next to him, ain't nobody gonna touch him. What's very interesting is that this reminds me of that one boss battle in Final Fantasy X, whenever you're fighting Seymour, and he has these two individuals that are next to you. That was a very, very annoying battle, man. So you have like these two people, and they cast Protect, and then Seymour himself has Shell. So like you're over here trying to attack Seymour, and they'll immediately protect him and cast Protect. So like you literally can't do anything, and then whenever one of them, whenever you would injure one of them, they would automatically heal themselves with a potion. So unless you had an ability or something that could do like enough damage, like 2,500 damage, to immediately one-shot them, they would just, you know, re-potion themselves and put themselves back in Seymour's way, so you wouldn't be able to hit them. And so that reminds me very similarly to the situation that's happening here, which doesn't really fit, because Seymour actually was strong, but what do I know, man? Orochi's probably strong too. Who knows, bro? I don't know, but the two individuals guarding him really reminds me of that boss battle from FF10. Did you see that Lord Odin rush to castle? Yo, and everybody's happy. The rightful heir of the Kozuki clan has returned. And like, can you imagine how it must feel for them, right? These individuals that have now been under Orochi, considering what he probably has done in this span of time, and what Toki has done for the individuals, and, you know, passing on the legend of Odin and it's, you know, little spurts going on around Wano. You can imagine how happy people must be, like, yo, the rightful heir has finally returned, like this and that, or finally come to us. So Yippee will have a new shogun at last. I'm sure he'll drive out Kaido too. He'll kick out Orochi. So the people are very well aware about the team and the connection between Kaido and Orochi then. Because we know that it was established, at the very least it was common information in terms of the people that we know. But now this is common information to the public. They're like, yo, Orochi's in cahoots with Kaido. And Kaido is that dude. So unless you want to mess with Kaido, you better not mess with Orochi. You feel me? But they see Odin as this type of dude that's like, yo, man, he's invincible. Go out there and pwn him. Pwn Orochi and Kaido. Lord Odin, I don't know why it happened, but I hear that my father pushed you to be the Shogun's proxy, but only until I came back. So give up the Shogun's seat to me right now. I had no intention of being the man in charge, but I know that I can do better for this country than you. Let's go. Let's go. And you know what? I love that Odin says this, because this is such an Odin thing to say. You know, right in front of him, no hesitation, tells him to give up the seat right in front of his face, after he clearly just saw what just took place with the barrier fruit, and I'm pretty no he doesn't know about the clone thing, but regardless, I had no intention of being the man in charge, but I know that I can do better for this country than you. And that's just a spur of the moment, immediate thought that came out of his mouth. And you know that Odin's the type of dude that even if he says something in the spur of the moment, he will back it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, he will back it up. So he states that, mwahaha, but there's a twist. That statement did not actually contain the Shogun's authority. Kyo. It's good to see you back, Odin. So now he sees it. Now he sees the ability at work and how Orochi was truly able to come into power. Like, can you imagine seeing your dead pops in front of you all because of this sick Flagnard's doing? What, father, how are you alive? And like, Odin has no idea what's going on. He's never seen this ability in action. Kyo. What? The daimyo and all those fools believed in was a person disguised with the power of the clone fruit. This hag, yes, it was all lies. Wahaha. The entire country believed it, and they all arranged for me to take the shogun's throne. In other words, I'm under no obligation to cede control to you. At this point, nobody can possibly know what the real Sukiyaki was thinking. What did you do to my father? Did he actually die of illness? Odin, you should very well know that at this point in time, with such a slimy individual like Orochi, that he didn't actually just die of an illness, man. There was definitely a scheme that was put into place here for this man to come into power, bro. And you have everybody cheering Lord Odin. As the crowds looked up at the castle cheering the return of the Kozuki clan, poisoned arrows struck here and there as though from nowhere. Poisoned arrows? Yo, they really are raining down from the heavens. Two people collapsed, spitting up blood. They both fell blind. Doctor, doctor. As the townspeople fled indoors in a state of panic. In front of the flower capital, right on top of the castle, lightning is coming down. The clouds are shaking. Time itself comes to a stop. The world itself says, relax, for you're in the presence of the dragon. And right here, as if a call from the flipping flag nords, this man Orochi, or not Orochi, this man Kaido, just, appears as if he came straight out of Slifer the Side Dragon, dog. Straight up, bro. 10 stars and all. I summon thee. Out of nowhere, coach. And everyone is mad shook because everything changes. The climate changes, the weather changes, time stops, and you see this massive blue fierce dragon. Look at the way this is drawn, dude. This is so cool. I always appreciate, like recently in the anime, we got some really, really nice shots with like Kaido roaming around in the air. But the way that Oda does it is so cool, man. It reminds me of the way that Toriyama used to draw Shenron, and I just love that so much. Maybe it's because of my appreciation for dragons, and how cool they can look when done right. I wouldn't even say even when done right. Like, I think they always just look cool. But the way that Oda draws Kaido is just so beast, man. It's just something about it. They witnessed amid the clouds rolling in the sight of an enormous dragon floating over the capital. He grew from wild child to daimyo of Kuri. Then wait, is that Shinobu? Yeah, it is. Because she's watching over on top in a way that only Shinobu would. Then went to sea and traveled among the world's greatest pirates, returning many times stronger than when he'd left. Kozuki Odin returned invincible and triumphant. In him, the people saw a savior who would rescue them from a cruel tyrant. This wonderful panel of Odin right here to the right. But within just a few hours, Kozuki Odin was seen stripped to his loincloth outside of Shogun Orochi's palace and dancing like a fool. What? Why? Within just a few hours, Kozuki Odin was seen stripped to his loincloth outside of Shogun Orochi's palace and dancing like a fool. And you just see him. Odin would never do anything like this without some sort of reason or purpose. You feel me? Like, Odin is the type of dude, we saw what he was just capable of. We saw what he's always been capable of. This dude does not give a flying flag darts. So, the only way that he would do something like this is if Orochi would have told him, like, dog, if you don't do this, we're wiping out your family. We're wiping out Wano. Or doing something around those lines to where Odin said, I'll give in to your demands. I'll give in to your demands, coach. You want me to go around and strip to my loincloth and dance around like a fool? But to protect my family, that's the type of man that I see Odin as, right? But that's the only way that I can see him doing something like this. Within just a few hours, Kozuki Odin was seen stripped to his loincloth outside of Shogun Orochi's palace and dancing like a fool. And I'm sure if this is a plan by Orochi, he's seeing this as an opportunity to, like, forsake this man of, like, yo, you guys saw this man as your savior, you guys saw this man as the rightful heir, but look at him now. You know, y'all thought that he was going to come into my palace and whoop me, but look at what we did to him. Made him look like a sicko. He's out here dancing like a fool in front of all of y'all. And this is what happens. Even your great Lord Odin did this. Hold on, man. Let me see. Orochi and Kaido's underlings laughed and laughed. And here you have these sick bastards. So it has to be a scheme, bro. He danced and begged for spare change. And finally walked away. The return of Kozuki Odin, the rightful heir of Wano, had been the country's final hope in a matter of speaking. And it's clearly Odin because we see the old lady right here in this panel. So that's clearly Odin. It's not just somebody trolling as Odin. But the people's hopes were betrayed and their great disappointment eventually turned to anger. What's wrong with them? It's the foolish Lord of Kuri, that's Kozuki Odin. His fear of snakes gives him the blues. And if you laugh, you lose. Hoo hoo. Odin appeared in the capital once a week. To do that? To caper about in front of the castle for scraps. Whether rainy or windy or snowy. Please, Lord Odin. I dance in the buff every week and receive money. That's my job. Please tell us the truth. See? When Odin's not even telling his retainers. When Odin's not even telling his family why he made this agreement, you know there's some serious stuff, man. It's just, with the type of man that Odin is, that's the only way that I see something like this possible. You feel me? Like, it had to have been an agreement, a negotiation, where Odin just saw a situation where there was no way that he could do anything unless he did this. Because we know Odin to be that type of dude, man. My man's, now after having gone on this journey, puts family first. He puts family and the people that he truly loves first and foremost before everything else. So to protect everyone else, if he has to act a fool, my guy will do it in an instant. In an instant. I truly believe that. And the fact that they're asking him to tell him the truth, as if like this was something that is that they're seeing as like, tell us what is really going on here, and Odin is just trolling them or not telling them the truth. But it's just, man, what a, like, I can't help, as somebody who loves villains and heels, I can't help but appreciate the way that Oda is writing Orochi here, because it's perfect in terms of what he wants to do. You know, Orochi wants to be seen as this ruler of Wano whom will be respectful of the people, and how we see him in modern day Wano, you know, being, you know, drinking in the party and being a part of all this stuff. But the only way that he could be rightfully accepted as the heir and not Odin is either if Odin dies, and or if Odin does something so bad to betray the hopes and expectations of the people that they then turn on him and would rather have Orochi as their leader than Odin. And I'm sure that Odin realizes that. I mean, he's the one that said earlier on this chapter, like, dog, I am the one, like, I may not be fit to rule, but I'm more fit than you. That's basically what he said. Like, I would do way more for these people than you could ever do in your wildest imagination, right? But here we have him dancing like a fool all over the place and just betraying the expectations of the people. And we know that Odin feels this way, but at the end of the day, he has the type of mentality to where he will put what he truly loves before even the expectations of the people, as we've seen before, you know, before he left on his journey. Because there was expectations of him then, but he still put what he wanted before everybody else, or before everything else. But here, I'm 100% certain that he is doing something in order to protect the people that he loves, man. There's just no way Odin would do something like this without having that, bro. What did you speak about with Orochi? Why would you do this? Even the people of Kuri who believed in you the longest have grown sick of this. Tales of his antics in the capital reach Kuri too. It's the fool of a lord. And yet everybody is throwing rocks at him, man. And throwing stuff at him. Whatever you do, don't turn out like him. He's pathetic. A real samurai would rather commit seppuku than be Orochi's lapdog. After a year of this, My dog did this for a year? Which was 24 years before today. Odin received a newspaper from abroad courtesy of Shogun Orochi. He ran up and down the beach wailing, then laughing, then wailing again. The world was buzzing over the public execution of the king of the pirates, Gold Roger, and the allure of the vast fortune he left behind, the One Piece, sent all kinds of people out to sea on a treasure hunt. It was the start of the great age of piracy. Roger, you wonderful man, what a life. And you see, when I see this panel right here, when I see these panels right here, you immediately know that what Odin is doing is for something beyond himself, because this is just the type of dude that he is, man. He cares about the code of honor. He cares about the code of what it truly means to live a life, bro. Like, he's crying about it. He's crying about Roger having lived this wonderful life. And the fact that he was able to proudly live alongside him for the time that he was with him. You know, he's somebody that stakes pride in living a life to the fullest. You think a dude like that wouldn't have, like, a reason for doing what he's doing? It's a definite reason, man. Oda even dedicated a page to us seeing how Odin reacted to the news of Roger being executed, bro. And when the world found out about the One Piece and everybody set out in the great age of piracy. That's beautiful, man. Yo, give me a sec. I'm gonna get some water. We'll be back to finish the chapter, man. Greatness, dude. Alrighty, man. I'm back, dude. As I was sitting here, I was like, man, if this is all a shoot, I have so much respect for Odin's character, but like even more than I already did, man. I already respected the type of man that he is, the you know, with his personality, the way that he conducts himself, his convictions and whatnot, right? But this right here, man, for the type of individual that he is, to truly, truly, truly put others before himself to this extent, the fact that to the point of being made a fool out of, man. And willingly accepting it, because he realizes that he himself is nothing compared to the lives of those he cares about. If this is truly what he's doing, then man, dude, Odin is a phenomenal dude. Like, yo, that's something that is really, really hard. I mean, do you know how many people would have easily thrown others under the bus, even if it's their own family members? You see it every single day, man. And the fact that Odin is pretty much saying screw all that, bro, if this is all a shoot. And not only that, man, I mean, I can't get over, I always love in this series when we get to see people's reactions to Roger dying, because it truly does show how great of a man he was. But especially with Orochi here, considering he had only really been with him for a little while, but even he ended off the statement or started the statement with, Roger, you wonderful man, what a life. Like, he didn't say, man, he died too young, or he didn't say, man, it's a shame he had to die. Like, no, he's crying tears of joy and tears of sorrow because he lost a friend, but tears of joy because he got to actually live alongside this man and see this wonderful journey that he went and lived. Like, man, what a man and what a wonderful life you lived, bro. That's some beautiful stuff, man. So let's continue on. In the second year since Odin's return, a battle broke out in Ringo, the Gecko Pirates versus the Animal Kingdom Pirates. Oh, snap! Yo, I had been waiting and wondering when we were gonna get that. So it was in the second year since Odin's return when Moria came in and fought Kaido, and that's whenever Kaido wiped out his entire crew. Bro, look at young Moria right here, dog. Yeah, man, we gotta get Moria and Wano, man. You know, just to bring all of that together in closure. And I'm not sure how Moria is gonna have an impact on this arc, considering that he's probably gonna come in here with Blackbeard, which would definitely mean that Blackbeard has to come in this arc, which that would be way too hype. But Moria, well, let's continue. The grave of Ryuma, god of the blade, was ransacked at this time, which is exactly whenever Moria took Ryuma's body, and it's amazing that he managed to actually escape with that thing, you feel me? But shout out to Moria, man, for actually managing to do all this. All throughout, Odin danced, and all who associated with Kuri's foolish lord were painted with the same brush. So not just Odin, everybody else whom he associated himself with. There was the family of the laughing stock. Man, and then Odin asked, do you want a divorce? And Toki says, is that a joke, or are you trying to make me mad? And right here you still have Momonosuke and Hiyori holding on to Odin. And I'm sure that Odin cares more for, you know, the hugs of his children than what the general populace thinks, you feel me? The vassals. We've been familiar with your naked dancing for years and years, Lord Odin. Kapapa. It's nothing new to us. Look at Kiku in the background. And those few to whom he owed a personal debt. Yasui. He might be a fool, but calling him a lord is more than he deserves. Hey, you better stay away from Boss Hyogoro, boss fool of a lord. Hyogoro the flower. Stop that. Please stop in and have some tea. Oh, yo, Odin is here. Look at my boy. Yo, dude. That damn Orochi just won't give up. I'd never work for a man like him. Well, don't put yourself in danger, Hyo. I was just telling him that your dancing's gotten so much better, Odin. Please, ma'am, spare me. 3 years passed. 3 years? The fool of a lord is back again. Dude, he's still doing this? Watch you, the snow's a bit nippy. 4 years passed and nothing in Wano changed. So Odin continued and continued and continued to do this for years upon years upon years. That Odin's so obnoxious. In the 5th year, Orochi made his move on Kuri. The Shogun has come to Kuri. It's Shogun Orochi. I would like to build a number of new weapons factories here, and I want your help, Odin. But Shogun, what of the ships you know with Kaido? What do you mean? One will be a weapons producer. Wait a minute, Skip. So, says, what of the ships you know with Kaido? Orochi says, what do you mean? And Odin just looks pissed whenever he says that Wano will be a weapons producer. Oh, and as for Hyogoro, he's beyond my means to control, so I gave him to Kaido. He'd probably be dead before long. Oh, snap. What? His old woman clung to him and wouldn't let go, so they shot her dead. You'd figure a mobster's wife would have some more self-control. Nah, man. Come on, bro. The man who controlled the underworld from the flower capital, Hyogoro the Flower, was taken prisoner when his followers fought back. Give our boss back. A total of 16 died, plus Hyogoro's wife. As his family and vassals had largely assumed, the great samurai had been shouldering some terrible burden all alone for 5 long years. I know, bro. I knew it. And this was the last straw of his perseverance. Great big tears spilled from his eyes as the emotions he's held back came flooding out all at once. The time has come. All right, man. Bro, it's like you're seeing this man go through all of this embarrassment and all this stuff, and then to hear and see 5 years, and you see that the people whom he loved still respected him so much because they knew the type of man that Odin is. Odin is the type of dude to do this for no reason. But no, bro. This was the straw that broke the camel's back, man. This was it, and with all the tears that are flowing down his face, every single thing that he has shouldered for all of these years is coming out, bro. The time has come to strike down Kaido. And in the midst of all of this, like, I feel so much for this man, bro. It's like he did all of this, and he still couldn't protect Hyogoro, man. He let 16 people die, including his wife, whom he just was with, man. And then here you have all the retainers saying, that's what we've been waiting to hear you say for all these years. Now gather round and you shall bear witness to the once-in-a-lifetime uproar caused by Kazuki Odin, the man for whom all of Wano wept. Within him stood 9 man-made samurai through his patronage. The honor was sunset the crimson red. Is this Doppel's bread? It's a Doppel's bread. Hit me with a yo in the comment section, man, for your boy. Oh my. Dude, look at this panel. This is like one of those walks. This is an overtaken panel, bro. Din, 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 din. It shone like flames upon these men heading into battle, and the katanas they wore at their waists burned just as brightly with life. Afterward, in reference to these red scabbards and in honor of their strength and loyalty, people called them the Akazaya Nine, and you have them all crossing on the bridge, dude. Their foe was Kaido. They paid heed to no other. The story of their march is a thing of the past, sadly, and it ends in the public execution of Kozuki Oden. And now, dear audience, let not your eyelids blink, lest you miss a single moment of what shall be known as the Hour of Legends, dude. The Hour of Legends. Bro, let's go, dude. Their foe was Kaido. They paid heed to no other. The story of their march is a thing of the past, sadly, and it ends with the public execution of Oden. And now, dear audience, let not your eyelids blink, lest you miss a single moment of what shall be known as the Hour of Legends. And that's the end of the chapter, man. Yo, dude. If you know something? This chapter felt like an entire flashback in one chapter. It really, really did. With how Oden came back, everyone was cheering for him. You know, the way it was paced was so well done. It felt like a short film. It really felt like I read a short film of Oden's life once he returned back from his adventures. You know, we see him go all the way back up to Orochi and you know, all mad and whatnot. And then we get to see, you know, the two individuals that were with Orochi that started this whole business in the first place, from the Kurozumi clan, and of course one with Bon Glacier, the Bartolomeo's fruit. And then something happened whenever Kaido showed up. There was something that took place. This burden that he had carried for all these years that caused him to act like a fool for 5 years. You know how long 5 years is, man? 5 years. That's 1 year longer than when you're going to high school, dude. You feel me? Like, yo, that's 5 years. It's a very, very long time, man. And for this man to keep that up, all to protect those that he loved, and even at the very end, he was not able to protect every single person. He was not able to protect Hyogoro's wife. Hyogoro himself was sent into prison, and 16 people died because they fought back for their mans, bro, for their boss. And that broke him. Because for all this time, he was shouldering this alone, but there's certain pain that you can't shoulder alone anymore, man. There's certain amounts of pain that you need others with you, bro. And he just broke down and said, dog, we're taking out Kaido. I don't care no more. I don't care when the Flying Flagners happens. And the retainers like, dog, that's what we've been waiting for you to hear you say for 5 years, my mans. Let's get right into it. Look at this gorgeous panel, the walk. Yo, this entire final page is so gold, dude. This entire final page is Santa level, man. This is beyond hype. The Hour of Legends, bro. I'm so excited, bro. So next chapter, we're gonna get Kaido boxing Oden, dude. Definitely can't read that. that requires an entire day in of itself. Man, what a chapter. What an emotional roller coaster of a chapter, man, seriously. And we had that beautiful page of the newspaper coming down and Oden, you know, seeing that Roger had been executed, and first thing that he says is, man, what a man and what a wonderful life, bro. Beautiful, beautiful stuff, bro. But man, what a character Oden is, you know, seeing his entire journey up until this point. And, you know, he had fed us, Oda had fed us these characteristics and his personality traits and type of man that he is to really make you question a situation like this, man. Like, Oden would never do anything like this. You feel me? Like, the only way that Oden would ever do anything like this is to protect somebody else. But the fact that he is doing that, and he's not just, you know, trying to take it all upon himself in a way that he probably normally would have before he had a family. Because before he had a family, I'm sure Oden would have boxed him right there on sight. But after Odin had a family, after he became a father, he probably realized that there are certain things more important than your pride. And that is a very, very important life lesson, given to us through Oda or I should say, by Oda through Odin, which I definitely do appreciate. And the manner that he did it, it really made you feel his struggle, especially whenever you have that panel of him crying, and it was angry tears, after having let down Hyogoro. And it's like, dog, we're going to take down Kaido, man. And it really led into, this reminds me of, and Oda does this a lot, giving an emotional moment to one that really makes you mad and then delivering something hype. Like, it is, most obvious examples, the Celestial Dragon Punch. Just recently, earlier in this arc, whenever they were going to, take out Toko, and Sanji and Zoro came in, and it just caused for an extremely hype moment. And Oda's really good at doing stuff like that, man, to really riling you up and delivering a hype moment there as payoff. And he did that right here with this final panel. I cannot wait to see what happens. And of course, we know that Odin loses, and it leads to it ends with the public execution of Odin. But I just want to see it all go down in the way that it went down, man. I can't wait, dude. I will see y'all next time. Have an awesome day. Tomorrow we will be back in the lake somewhere for the greatness of chapter 970 of One Piece. And I look forward to seeing what's in store, man. What another incredible chapter. This Oda's been on a roll this entire arc, man, but this flashback has been hitting, man. It's been hitting really, really hard. And it's something that I can't wait to see in the anime. I'm really looking forward to seeing it and in the way that it's going to be animated and handled there. But I will see y'all next time, man. Have an awesome day. Let me know what y'all thought about this chapter in the comment section down below. Can't wait for tomorrow, man. One Piece greatness. Shout out to my boy Odin, bro. That takes a lot. That takes a lot for you to do something like this, man. But what a man he is.